Hello everybody, my name is Fixie People. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to the channel if you're new. And I have a new subscriber goal for 100 subscribers before the end of the month. So you're going to see a lot of videos from me, hopefully. Anyways, let's get to it. So we continue our story after Deku woke up after fighting All for One. And, of course, he wakes up before the Class 1A versus Class 1B fight. So, yeah. And he gets to meet up with Ochako after, and they talk on how Deku basically saved All Might from being killed. Yeah, but that's it. Then we get to the Class 1A versus Class 1B arc. So, yeah. Everything that happens in the original happens now. And until we get up into Bakugo's fight, where when he's about to use his explosion quirk, tendrils shoot out instead of explosions. And they're red and brown. Red and black. And they tangle around the lady with the detaching body parts, which Deku just is shocked by, and then Bakugo just works with it and throws her into jail, and he's able to keep it under control until the fight ends. And that was basically when they won, was when Bakugo hit that explosion. But yeah, in this timeline, Bakugo has one for all, and there you go. So, Bakugo, this fight ends, and now it's Deku's turn. And what happens in this fight is Shinso tries to catch Deku off guard with the voices, but Deku decided at the beginning he was going to just play safe and just not answer anyone. Even it was actually his team. He was just worried that Class 1B had like a person that could transfer people into different people, and then Shinso would have tricked everyone. That would be a dream partner for Shinso, wouldn't it? A person that could change Shinso's form to look like anyone. Anyways, shit. So just basically gets destroyed, let's be honest here. The fight happens, and then a fight happens. So tries to wrap Deku around the scarf, but Deku just uses his overwhelming strength and infinite stamina to drag Shinso over to him and punch him in the face. Then he wraps up Shinso really quickly, and then picks him up and suplexes him into the ground, knocking him out, capturing him into the jail. And Monoma loses because the whole team jumps him, and he can't really use everyone's quirks. Deku keeps far, so Monoma can't take his quirk. So Monoma gets clapped up, and then they win the round. And Deku goes to find Bakugo, wondering what he was doing there with that quirk. That is most definitely not his. So, but Bakugo already left, so Deku has to ask later. And after that, we see we then start, and then we start the Endeavor Agency arc, and yeah, Deku gets invited to the arc by Shinso, and so yeah, Baku is there, so Deku immediately asked, "Yo." I'm kidding, he never says yo, but he asked Bakugo what that was, the whole black tendril thingy. But Baku says it's none of his business. But he says it's most definitely his business, considering that he saved his life. So Bakugo, owing it to Deku, he says that it's an awakening for one from his quirk. Which Deku completely says there's no way it is, considering nobody in the history of ever gets a quirk that's completely opposite to the original quirk. And so Bakugo says that's all he's gonna say. So Deku leaves it alone. Yeah, Deku doesn't know what One for All is, and he never will. I'm kidding, he will. Anyways, everything that happened in the Endeavor arc already happens correctly. Just Bakugo replacing Deku, and Deku saves All Might instead of Bakugo. After that, we see Deku with a bunch of civilians and keeping them safe. Then he sees Bakugo run off. And we see Deku click his feet, and we see some hover boots come out of him. Yeah, he asked from the pink lady if she could make him some hover boots so he could be faster. Because he feels like the infinite stamina thing is kind of useless, because he'll just be sprinting. It's kind of slow. No matter how fast you can run, it's still way slower than a person with a speed quirk. So he'd like something to counter that. So she made hover boots for him, and now he has white boots that turn into hover boots, and he just uses them to hover around. So he uses those to follow Bakugo, and Bakugo tells Deku to leave him alone. We basically see him using a mixture of the Black Whip and the explosions. But Deku says that he's being too mysterious for a guy who has this much bravado. So Bakugo yells at Deku, but Deku doesn't care. He's basically curious on what Bakugo's doing. That is until Shigaraki shows up and Deku and Bakugo get shocked faces and then feel his killing intent on... Well, Deku feels the killing intent, but Bakugo feels the whole, I want your damn quirk. Bakugo and Deku, before anything happens, Shigaraki shoots his black things out, but Bakugo just blows him away. Then moves Deku away so Deku can just be on the sidelines while he fights him. But Deku just keeps helping by keeping Bakugo from blowing up his limbs. So, yeah. Bakugo and Deku basically hold off Shigaraki until the heroes show up, and while they think they're about to just jump Shigaraki sends out the Nomus and they fight the heroes. And then we look over to see Aizawa, doing the thing he did in the original by canceling his quirks. And when Aizawa is about to take off his own foot, Deku runs over there, but Aizawa does take off his foot, but Deku heals it back onto his foot without the whole quirk racing thing, because it's a dead foot, and so the quirk racing thing just cancels out. So Aizawa is able to keep his foot, but he still loses an eye, because Deku had something to attach while the eye is just gone. So Aizawa is still out of the fight, but he keeps his foot. And Bakugo and Deku just jump Shigaraki, really. Mostly Bakugo just beating the shit out of Shigaraki while Deku heals him. But eventually Shigaraki catches Deku with his leg, basically disintegrating almost the whole thing until Baku blows into him. Luckily for Deku, he heals his entire foot back, and then he goes unconscious because that took all of his energy. Him regenerating limbs is like his maxing out his entire strength. So he's out. So Bakugo fights Shigaraki until he can't no more, and Shigaraki basically loses control and goes unconscious, putting the black hand onto his face. And then they run away, and everyone, goes to the hospital. Deku wakes up a lot earlier than anyone else, and he goes to see if Baku's alright. And they say he's in a coma and he's fine. But Deku decides to just let Baku rest and heal regularly. So basically, Deku sits next to Baku the whole time, worried about him. Until he's taken away because he needs to plan with the heroes for a second. But as soon as he comes back, Baku is missing and he's done his vigilante arc. After so Class 1A figures out a plan to get Bakugo back. So basically Baku does what Deku did in the original, and then the Class 1A shows up with Deku instead of Bakugo. And it's basically the same plan, and it works this time instead of Bakugo having to apologize to Deku. After Baku goes back to UA and takes a bath, they then continue to plan with Bakugo this time with all of his quirks. So the plan gets a lot better. And what they plan is Deku is going to be basically the everywhere all at once. And they figure out how they're going to do that is with Monoma. He's going to teleport Deku all over the place. Because remember, Monoma got Korogiri's quirk. What I remember by Monoma's quirk is that he can copy anyone's quirk and they can only use them one at a time. And since Aizawa is all healed up and it's actually perfectly fine, he can still cancel out quirks. He's just missing an eye. But his quirk isn't dampened in any slightest. He can still use his quirk perfectly fine. So yeah. Then everyone figures out that Ayama is the UA traitor, but they all say that it doesn't matter. And so they lure out All for One with this trick with Aoyama. And basically the whole Avengers Assemble thing happens again. Same thing. Yep. Okay. So Deku is a part of the group that fights Shigaraki, and Monoma he makes him teleport all around to heal all the heroes that are fighting Shigaraki. But eventually Shigaraki gets an advantage by All for One teleporting Baku away, with Shigaraki punching him through that portal. And so it's basically just the pro heroes and Deku holding off Shigaraki until Baku gets back. And Baku is a lot faster than Deku was in the original because of the explosions. So he zooms over to there a lot faster than the original. And I guess instead of Bakugo dying here, nobody dies because Deku can just heal everyone before Shigaraki can do any serious damage. And when Shigaraki tries to go for Deku, the Bro Heroes just punch him off him. And Deku just heals whatever got touched. So, yeah. But it does end in all the pre-heroes eventually being too far gone to heal. And Deku gets tired. And right before Bakugo gets there, Deku gets socked in the stomach, sent flying back. So far back that he actually hits Bakugo before he even gets there. But he has just a gut wound, really. But he heals it, saying, Baku, you gotta kill him. And Baku says that he hopes not to. And Deku hopes that Baku doesn't have to kill anyone either. So Baku fights Shigaraki, and yeah, with Deku sitting on the sidelines watching Bakugo fight him. So eventually, and then eventually they hear comms from Endeavor that All For One is going over to the, not Endeavor, they hear comms from, Jiro that All For One is zooming over to, where Shigaraki is. So when they hear about that, Deku is worried on that and is hoping Baku can beat out Shigaraki. But in this timeline, Shigaraki is able to get a hand right on Bakugo's face. In this timeline, Shigaraki, being a bit more in control here, decides he doesn't want that damn quirk, and he just kills and tries to kill Bakugo. And so Deku asks Monoma to throw him at him, so Monoma uses portals to have to cancel out the quirk, and shoots Deku onto Shigaraki, basically touching Bakugo, actually getting some blood on a cut that he has on his wrist, which Bakugo feels he's fucked, so he just transfers over One For All to Deku, losing it entirely and all the quirks, but Deku gets all the quirks. And Deku just heals Bakugo up until the point where Shigaraki gets annoyed and throws Bakugo away. Bakugo slams to the ground, missing half his face, missing an eye, and having a massive gash in his cheek. But we can hear his heart beating, so he's fine. So Deku fights, then the fight transfers over to Deku. And yeah, it's a lot harder for Deku to control One For All, but he's able to, since Shigaraki is so, tired from fighting Bakugo, it's a lot easier for Deku to fight Shigaraki. And Deku basically counters the whole, I can punch as hard as I want, and I don't have to worry about the whole hurting my body because I can just heal it. So he basically punches Shigaraki with every single might of every punch and is not being able to worry about stamina. So Shigaraki just starts getting fucked up. And so Shigaraki is panicking, so he tries to take Deku's quirk, because there's no way he's going to be able to touch Deku with his actual quirk, because Deku will just heal it. So he tries to steal Deku's quirk, but Deku counters it by invading Shigaraki's mind. And when All For One shows up, Deku just basically face palms him and basically purges him from Shigaraki. But of course, Shigaraki, being too far gone, decays Deku's decays nothing, but just pushes Deku back, and then just starts losing it by exploding in a thing of fingers. Yeah, it's really gross. And Deku has to deal with that. So Deku decides that he's just going to help everyone instead of fighting Shigaraki up. So he takes Baku and moves him, and they get out of there. And then Deku runs, stances out, and then Class 1A, Pro Heroes, yeah, all that. Then Deku rushes towards Shigaraki, he thinks. And then everyone, like, keeps Deku and lets him attack him. And Deku jumps up, charges one last punch, and is about to swing when he gets a little flash thing. With Shigaraki saying to Deku that he would like to give his friend Spinner his last words, which Deku says he'll give them to him. And then he kills Shigaraki, just like in the original. And Deku slams to the ground unconscious, because oh my god, that was a lot of healing quirk. Yeah, and so this timeline, One for All, doesn't get erased, and Deku gets to keep it, with Bakugo being a lot stronger than he is in the original, because he was able to enhance his quirk so much. We'll say, like, some vestiges of One for All was there, so Bakugo's quirk is just 100 times stronger than it was in the original. But, yeah, that's really it. Deku inherits One for All, keeps it from being erased, because he can just heal himself. So, yeah. Oh yeah, All for One got erased, like he did in the original. Bakugo woke up and fought him, and basically evaporated him because he was too strong. Anyways, that's it. That's the end of What If. Like, subscribe, hit the post notification bells. Hope you liked the ending. I kind of liked it. Not too much, really. I kind of was tripping over myself there, but bye.